And has a close working relationship with the Alabama Department of Forensic Sciences, the United States Marshal Service, and also the Central Alabama Crime Stoppers. Our cold case unit has been operational now for 3 years. During that time, 15 cases that were at the time unsolved cold cases have been solved. These folks have been arrested, and these cases are now making their way through the criminal justice system. And these are cases that most likely would have never been solved if it had not been for the cold case unit and the work of the cold case investigators. We have called you together this afternoon to talk about some recent successes of the cold case unit. And I want to say before I begin that all of these suspects that have been arrested in these cold cases, these are mere allegations, and until they have been proven guilty in a court of law, they are presumed innocent. I'm required by law to say that. On May 21st, 1980, 3:30 p.m., John Bogle, who was a businessman here in Montgomery, 51 years of age, came into his residence and was met by someone who was burglarizing his residence, a home invasion. He was murdered by that person. Property, including his vehicle, were stolen from him. This case was thoroughly investigated by the Montgomery Police Department. A lot of hours were spent on this case. And unfortunately, it became cold. Once our cold case unit sprung into action, they discovered a suspect, and an arrest warrant for capital murder was recently issued for John Michael Ermer, who's a 68-year-old male currently residing in Boston, Massachusetts. He is currently awaiting extradition to the state of Alabama. On April the 1st, 2015, Jamie Lightsey, 34 years of age, was murdered during a road rage incident while driving down Argyle Road in Montgomery. Lightsey was shot and killed during this incident. Again, another lengthy investigation by the Montgomery Police Department. And unfortunately, that case became cold and was turned over to the cold case unit. The cold case unit recently developed a suspect by the name of Daryl Moore, 34-year-old resident of Montgomery. An arrest warrant was issued for Moore, and he was arrested this morning by the United States Marshal Service. On November the 24th, 2018, 28-year-old Stephen White Jr. of Montgomery was shot and killed during a robbery at a hotel on Monticello Drive here in Montgomery. Again, investigated by the Montgomery Police Department, that case went cold. And I do want to stop here and point out that the Montgomery Police Department does an exceptional job in solving cases. They have one of the highest clearance rates of any law enforcement agency in the country. It's an exceptional rate. But you can't always solve every case initially. And unfortunately, we have so many cases in Montgomery, they stay busy. But this was another case that went cold. After an investigation by the cold case unit, suspects 21-year-old Lonnie Helms III, 24-year-old Kennedy Wilson, and 24-year-old Darian Motley were developed as suspects. It was determined during the course of this investigation that after the murder that occurred in 2018, that Mr. Motley was murdered himself in an unrelated incident. Helms and Wilson were developed as suspects and were recently charged and recently indicted by a Montgomery County grand jury just a couple of weeks ago for the crime of capital murder. Again, these are cases that would not have been solved if it had not been for the work of these law enforcement professionals, these teams that we put together with this cold case unit. And I'm so thankful to the Montgomery County Commission. Our chairman, Doug Singleton's here. I'm going to ask him in a second to come up and say a few words. But if it had not been for their financial support, these cases might not have ever been solved. This is the second time this week that this group of law enforcement professionals have gathered to do a press conference. And I'm here to tell you that the cooperation between these agencies has never been greater. And there are cases out there that we're working on. There are people out there who have committed these crimes. And my message to you is, you may have thought that you've gotten away with it, but we're coming, and we're going to find you. And when we do, you will pay for these crimes that you have committed in our community. I want to stop at this point and invite our chairman of the Montgomery County Commission, Doug Singleton, if you would come up and say a few words on behalf of the commission. And again, thank you for your financial support.
Thank you. I just want to say on behalf of the Montgomery County Commission how proud we are of this group of professionals standing behind me. The work they have done has far surpassed what we thought would happen when Daryl Bailey came to us and the sheriff and police chief came to us and said, hey, we want to start a cold case unit. We want to open up some of these crimes that have been happening in the past, and we want to go back and start reinvestigating in them and see if we can't solve them, mainly for the families, to bring some closure to the families. And what they have done, this group of professionals, again, has far surpassed what I expected, and I just want to commend them. And just like our district attorney said, this group behind us here, they're out there doing a fantastic job. And if you commit a crime in Montgomery County, we're going to get you. You're not going to sleep good. You don't need to sleep good if you decide to take somebody's life. And it may take a while, but at the end of the day, we're going to come get you, and we're going to find you. So I just want to say again, congratulations to this group. So very proud of each of these men and women that are represented by the different law enforcement agencies here today. Thank you.
I ask the chief of the Montgomery Police Department, if you would, just come and say a few words. Thanks, Chief. Chief Daryl Albert.
The point here is never give up. Never give up. Work hard every day. And we encourage people out in the community, if you have information about crimes, contact any one of these agencies up here, and we will run those leads out. So thank you, Mr. DA, and thank you to this fine team that we have assembled here. We'll continue to work hard for these families and for these victims. So thank you, and we'll continue to work.
Thank you, Chief. Representing the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office, I know Sheriff Cunningham had another event that he was at, but we do have one of his chiefs, Wes Richardson, here. You were.
Yeah, thank you, District Attorney Bailey, and thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Chief. I just want to reiterate what they've said, is that we're a true partnership. This is a great group of law enforcement officers combined with our prosecutors, and we obviously have the support of our commissioners and other leaders of the city. So we're just proud to be a part of it. As Chief Albert said, it doesn't matter how long. It doesn't matter how long. If you commit a crime, this team, this group of investigators, will work together. We'll work with our partners to ensure we bring justice. So thank you, sir.
Thank you, Chief. We have Central Alabama Crime Stoppers. Tony, would you like to come up? Tony Garrett.
Thank you. As the families can see, if you're going through a situation like this where you've lost a loved one and it's going unsolved, this shows you that there is hope, that these people are working. I can tell you countless of times that the investigators, the law enforcement, when we get a tip, doesn't matter what it is, they're on the phone or they're coming to my office and they're investigating that tip. If you have information about ongoing case, please give us a call, download our app, because somebody's out there hurting and they want their case to be solved too. We get to hear from a lot of families, and there's a lot of families that's hurting and they want success like we're seeing and hearing today. So if you're that person that's holding on to that information, it may just be that little piece of information that they need to solve this case, to solve the case that you know about. So please give someone a call. If it's not Crime Stoppers, call the law enforcement or call us, and we'll keep you anonymous. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sure one of the natural questions is, how were these cases solved? And while I can't give details because of the rules of professional conduct that we're bound by, what I can say is that generally, that the use of forensic sciences, the use of Crime Stoppers, and then just good old-fashioned police work. A lot of work went into making sure that these cases were solved. And a lot of these cases, I do have to give credit to investigator Anthony Shannon, who's one of the cold case investigators and is the lead investigator in these cases, did an exceptional job in making sure that these cases were investigated. So thank you to him, and thank you to these law enforcement professionals. We do have members of some of these families that are here, and I would like the Lightsey family, if y'all would like to come up and say a few words. One of the things I will say is that in the criminal justice system, it's usually all about the defendant, and that's what is always the focus. But there are victims behind every one of these crimes that are suffering every single day because of the crime that was committed against their family. And they will never forget. They have to live with it every second of the day. You know, with the holidays coming up, it's even amplified even more. And let us not forget these families and what they have gone through. And, you know, you go back from even 1980, of how long that is. Mr. Bogle's children were very young at the time this crime happened. And, you know, it's just horrible what these families have to go through. So I want you to hear from some of these family members about that.
Yeah, I just want to echo what everybody else said. Thank all these individuals up here, all the agencies, Investigator Shannon, Daryl Bailey, U.S. Marshal Service. Thank you very much. It's 3 families now that feel a little bit better today than we did yesterday. And just want to, like I said, thank everybody, the cold case unit especially, and hopefully they can keep on making families feel the way we feel. Thank you.
Thank you. And then we'll also hear from a representative from the Smith family. A White family, I'm sorry.
I just want to say thank you mostly to Detective Shannon and y'all listening and understanding that it was wrong for taking his life. I also want to say thank y'all also. It was hard and it's still hard. And I'm still suffering. Just thank y'all. And I don't care why. It don't matter. Just thank y'all.
And again, that is why we do what we do. So thank you again to the Montgomery Police Department, to the Sheriff's Office, and all of our partners in this venture, and the City of Montgomery and Montgomery County Commission for their financial support and always there for us when we need them. I do want to give a special shout out to Commissioner Dan Harris, who really led the charge with this with the commission, and it was a unanimous vote, I believe, with the Montgomery County Commission, and we couldn't have done this without you. So again, thank you very much. Any questions that we can answer?
Yeah, I would love to ask, how has just the evolution of forensic science helped you solve cases that are just as, cold as the one in 1980?
Oh, forensic science has really helped us in these cold cases. With this genealogy DNA that we're using now, I'm not saying that was used in any of these cases, but that has solved a lot of cold cases across the country and continues to. So, we're able to go back, especially the cases in the 80s where DNA really wasn't a thing as far as forensic sciences, and take items that weren't tested and have them retested. That is one of the selling points when I was talking to the county commission. We had, we estimated when I got with the Montgomery Police Department approximately 200 unsolved cases, in a 20-year period or so. And we didn't realize we were going to go back to 1980 when we started this. But where things had not been tested that we wanted to get retested. So yeah, Department of Forensic Sciences and DNA testing has really tremendously helped us in solving a lot of cold cases.
Since the inception of the cold case unit, how many cases have you been able to solve?
We have, at this point, solved 15 cases that have been, we have made arrests on.
And how many do you have left? I guess I know they'll be adding up throughout the
Oh, yeah. I know that our cold case unit is busy working on a lot of cases right now, and we're hoping that, in the next few months, we're going to have even more news to share with you about some of these suspects being brought to justice. Well, thank you again for helping us. Our media partners are so important, and thank you for helping us get the word out about the great things these law enforcement professionals are doing.